Update. Am I the a-hole for kicking my sister out for trying to break me up with my boyfriend because she likes him? Original post. I, 26 male, and my boyfriend, 28 male, have been dating for 6 years and are living together. My sister, 22 female, and mine relationship wasn't the best when we were younger, mostly because our parents treated her like the golden child because they always wanted a girl, which already made me distant from them all a bit because of that reason alone. As we got older, my sister did act more like a mature person, but didn't fully grow out of her golden child act. My sister moved in 2 months ago because her boyfriend broke up with her and kicked her out. Though she refuses to tell me or anyone of her family the reason why they broke up, since they seem like a good couple, it was a little surprising. In the first 2 weeks, things went fine. She was decent, helped around, and didn't involve herself too much in me and my boyfriend's life or anything. But she seemed to be trying to get closer to my boyfriend as time went by. She kept trying to hug him, touch his arms and back, ask him to help zip up her dress when she goes out, which he obviously says no to, and would often interrupt me talking with him to put herself in the conversation. Of course, my boyfriend didn't like any of it, and whenever she did anything that made him feel uncomfortable, he'd tell me. And I've told her many times to stop and how she makes him feel uncomfortable. She would often say that she didn't mean to, how she just wanted a closer look at his tattoos on his arms, and a bunch of other excuses. A week ago, my boyfriend came to me and told me how my sister said that I'd been cheating on him, and he showed me his phone with messages of a bunch of crap my sister texted him, and how I was in a club or something with another guy. He didn't really believe her since I'm very introverted, and never even went to a club or a bar my entire life, and he knows that. So me flirting with some other dude out is just a very dumb lie to come up with. So I waited for her to come back, and when she did, I told her that we needed to talk. When I asked her why she would lie about me cheating, she immediately got defensive and started yelling at me, saying how I'm no good for my boyfriend, that I'm ruining her time here in my house, how she's going through a tough time with her own breakup, etc. My boyfriend did jump in and told her to shut up and to not shout. My sister suddenly started crying her eyes out like a child and started throwing a tantrum saying, "It should be me. You're supposed to be with me, not that effing slut. I am better than him. Why can't you two just break up already?" And a bunch of other hurtful things towards me. My boyfriend didn't even give her time to finish her tantrum before he yelled at her to grab her stuff and leave. She didn't listen to him and instead laid on the floor and continued yelling and crying. My boyfriend went towards where my sister's room was and packed her stuff in trash bags before throwing them all out while I was trying to get my sister off the floor. My sister shouted at him to stop and got up from the floor to go and try to get her stuff back inside. I got fed up with her and shoved her out while my boyfriend was throwing her stuff out as well. My sister did try to punch me while I shoved her, but it didn't hit me, and she kept shouting at me how I'm disgusting, ruining her life, and a bunch of F slurs on the way. She did finally leave us alone after my boyfriend said that he'd call the cops if she says another word to me. Now my phone keeps blowing up with calls and messages from my family and my sister's friends how I'm a terrible person and that I shouldn't have kicked her out because she's going through a breakup and didn't know what she was doing or whatever. My parents tried coming to my house today to try and talk to me and to get my sister to live with me and my boyfriend again. But since my boyfriend already hates their guts, they got kicked out within a minute before they could even try to justify my sister's actions. I don't think I did anything bad, but the amount of backlash and angry messages I'm getting is messing me up, so I'm gonna need some advice on how to continue from here because I'm starting to doubt my decision. So, am I the a-hole? Now for the top of comments before reading the update. Not the a-hole, your sister completely disrespected you in your relationship, in your own home, to make it even worse. It's disgusting that your parents would try to justify her actions at all. From your description of your relationship with your family, I wonder how they would have handled the situation if roles were reversed. Not the a-hole, should your boyfriend put up with being sexually harassed in his own home? Have you pointed out your sister's behavior to the rest of the family? Or are the rest of them just as crazy and think that she should have your boyfriend whether he wants her or not. Sadly, you might have to go no contact with your family if you want any peace, especially if they insist on foisting your sister off on you and your boyfriend. Why can't any of them take her in? I have told my family and everyone who involved themselves in what my sister did. They all come up with the same excuse, how she went through a rough breakup and that she's not in a good mindset. As for my boyfriend, he made it very clear he does not want her, as he's 100% gay and we've been together for a long time. And my sister is currently living with her parents, but my parents and the rest of my family don't really want her living with them for obvious reasons. She's annoying. The only reason I can't go fully no contact with my family is for my younger brother, who's 8 years old, in case my parents or sister do something stupid and he needs a safe place to stay or someone to talk to. She's not in a good mindset. That is no excuse for the shit she tried to pull. Are they saying because she's not in a good mindset that she can do whatever the hell she wants? Nope. It doesn't work that way. Her bad behavior has consequences with both you and your boyfriend. You are not obligated to take her annoying ass in. Let her be somebody else's problem. Not the a-hole. Definitely not the a-hole. Your sister is the a-hole. Your parents are the a-hole for raising her to be this way. She has clearly not outgrown her golden child act and is likely based on what you described above as a very toxic narcissist based on what you wrote. Your sister has likely painted a very untruthful story about what really happened to her friends and to your family. If you don't care about them and what they think, good for you. Move on and live your best life. If there are some of them that you value and care what their opinions are, maybe consider telling them of what your sister did. Share the horrible texts. If they don't believe you, you tried. And any sister who would do that is no sister of mine. Hope you go no contact with her. Now for the updates. Update. A lot has happened since I posted, so it will be quite long. So on my previous post of Am I the A-hole, I asked whether or not I was the A-hole or not. And I've got some new things to update y'all on. Turns out a few of you guys were right, and she gave most of the family a made-up story. She told the rest of the family, except my parents since they knew the real story from the start, and her friends, that when she moved in, I was a complete jerk. I made her do all the chores, cook every day, yelled at her all the time, and tried to make her feel insecure about herself. But she didn't because of girl boss and whatnot. She also said how my boyfriend was not happy in his relationship with me, and basically made me look like some demon who came from Satan's booty hole. I was able to slap some sense into a few of the more open-minded people with the help of my boyfriend to give them the real story. Most of them didn't even apologize and just stopped bothering me. I was able to get in contact with one of my sister's friends to ask about my sister's reason of the whole breakup thing. Turns out the reason my sister and her ex broke up was because she was supposed to take care of her ex's dog, but instead sold the dog because she didn't want to take care of it while he was away. She wasn't even sad that they broke up. She was upset because she wasn't allowed to keep the house and all the stuff inside that wasn't even hers. I don't know why she even thought that she'd be allowed to keep it after selling the guy's dog. The texts from my family did calm down from a few, but my parents and sister continued spamming me with trash talk. It got to a point that the day after I made the first post, I got a threat letter of my sister saying how I must break up with my boyfriend or else she'll destroy my reputation and everything I have, and also decide to be petty and write how she'll stab me. Unfortunately for her, when the letter came in, I was out grocery shopping, but my boyfriend was home with his family, who was over for dinner, and angering a family of 2 parents who have 9 kids, 5 adults and 4 teenagers, is not a pretty sight, as my boyfriend described it. My boyfriend's mother called my mother and started asking about the letter my sister sent. My mother denied it and said that my sister didn't do anything of that sort. My boyfriend's mother wanted to say more, but my mother hung up on her. And after we cooked and had dinner, my boyfriend's father suggested that they'd stay over in case my parents or sister tried to disturb us again. My boyfriend and I agreed to this, and we set up a few spare rooms for them since we do have a pretty big house. I did call the police for the threat letter, and they said that they'd look into it. After that, we simply went to bed. The next day, we did hear loud banging on the front door, with my sister screaming to be let in. One of my boyfriend's brothers opened the door, and she, my mom, and dad walked right in and demanded of me to talk to them alone. But my boyfriend's parents cut them off and tried telling them that my sister is out of line and that they needed to respect that they cross many boundaries. Both my parents and my boyfriend's parents then got into heated arguments. And what did my sister do? She tried to get closer to my boyfriend while the argument was occurring. My boyfriend then started shouting at her, calling her a psychopath and that she's annoying. My parents then started yelling at my boyfriend that it's no big deal and that's just how girls act around their crush. I did get fed up and told my parents and sister that they need to leave before I call the police. They refused, and my mom seriously said, "You should be a good brother and make your sister happy. Let her go on one date with your boyfriend and we'll leave. How else will they know if they click or not? You're basically ruining your sister's love life by being so selfish." My boyfriend and his siblings all immediately shut her up and tore her up for saying such stuff. My sister then started crying and tried to go to my boyfriend for a hug. One of my boyfriend's sisters slapped her and said how she should be ashamed of herself for trying to get to a gay-taken man. My sister seemed to have lost it and tried to lunge at me while screaming how much she hates me. She shoved me to the ground and grabbed a knife from her pocket and stabbed me. It was obviously she tried to go for my throat, but instead went to my shoulder. My boyfriend yanked her off me, and he and his siblings started to gang up on her. My boyfriend's mother helped me up and treated the stab wound with whatever we had, as it was bleeding quite a lot and pretty deep, and she's a nurse. My boyfriend's father called the police. My parents tried to take my sister and leave, but my boyfriend and his siblings kept them in the place until the police arrived. Once the police got there, my sisters and my parents got arrested, and I got sent to the hospital because the bleeding wouldn't stop. I got a few stitches on my shoulder now, and it's a bit difficult to move with my left arm. When my sister got questioned by the police, her smart ass kept shouting threats and that she meant to slice my throat, not my shoulder. What the F? For some reason, she also kept crying out my boyfriend's name, as if he's going to defend her or help her. My sister got sent to jail and my parents got a restraining order. But due to their actions, my little brother 8 got taken out of their house and put into my care. 3 of my boyfriend's siblings are currently staying over because they think my parents might come back and try to take my little brother away or hurt me. For 2 days, it's been peaceful. Maybe some other family members will come by or my sister's friends will try something, but right now I'm safe. My boyfriend, his sister, and my little brother are currently hanging out playing some video games. He's planning on taking my brother to a zoo since my little brother loves animals and never went to one. I'll update if anything else will happen. Story 3. Update. Am I the a-hole for telling my best friend why I wasn't attending his wedding? Original post. Me, 32 male, and my best friend Alex, 32 male, have been friends since diapers. We're basically family. After college, we both moved back home so we could live at home and get her feet underneath us. Alex started dating Stella, 35 female, a lovely girl around 4.5 years ago. And from the get-go, she seemed to politely dislike me. I don't know why. Oh well, c'est la vie. Alex and Stella moved across the country in 2021 after Stella earned a promotion at work. In 2022, Alex proposed, she said yes, and they set a wedding date for the end of September 2023. I got a saved the date card at the beginning of the year, and based on the conversations I had with Alex, assumed I would be in the wedding party, either as a groomsman or the best man, but never received any official confirmation from either of them. A couple months before the wedding, I saw that the wedding invitations had gone out on social media and figured mine was en route. It never came. I waited a couple of weeks, figured it might have just gotten lost in the mail before I checked in with him. I called Alex and had a brief conversation with him where he was clearly agitated and said he was dealing with a lot, would be incommunicado for the near future, to direct my wedding-related questions to Stella. and he'd call me when things cooled off. I called, texted, and emailed Stella several times over the course of the week, but she didn't respond to any of them. At this point, I figured I wouldn't be attending the wedding, and that things were really effed up for some reason between the two of us. Yesterday, a little over 3 weeks after our last conversation, Alex DM'd me asking if I was free to chat. I jumped at the opportunity to get some answers, and after exchanging pleasantries, Alex jumped right into the spiel saying that he knew I was super busy with work and dealing with a lot of personal stuff, but he'd love it if I could attend his wedding, even just as a guest, and wanted to know if there was anything he could do to help make that happen. I just blurted out that I'd love to, but hadn't received an invitation. Alex stared blankly at me and said, "What?" And I just kind of verbally vomited out that I hadn't received an invitation. And that was the reason I'd called him a few weeks ago, that I had contacted Stella about it, but she never got back to me and left me on read, and that I had no idea what he was talking about, dealing with too much to be involved in the wedding. After a very pregnant pause, he said he needed to go sort some things out and that he'd call me when it was done. My phone has been blowing the F up since the wedding attendees asking me what the F happened and why the wedding might be off now. My girlfriend has reaffirmed to me that I did nothing wrong, but I've had people from all sides saying I stuck my nose where it didn't belong and caused a stink, which is really effing with my head. Am I the a-hole? Edit. After he DM'd me, we switched to video chat, meant to include that. Whoops. Edit 2. My girlfriend is also having way too much with this and is kindly giving me crap for doubting myself. Edit 3. This was just posted so that people who wanted an update have an easy way to follow what's going on since it got removed. And now for the update. Update. Alex and I texted Tuesday night and Wednesday morning. He said he was handling stuff and asked if I'd be free to talk Thursday afternoon with him and Stella, which I agreed to. This is just a rough summary, and I probably forgot some stuff, but frankly, I'm too mentally fried to weave a narrative, so it's gonna be some bullet points. A couple of pieces of info that Alex tried to provide some context to. Alex was raised fairly sheltered and religious until he was 18. When he went to college and opened, as a result, he still has some, blind spots about certain things. Alex has mild to moderate OCD. It's managed with low levels of medication and maintenance therapy, which is one of the reasons he gets overwhelmed easily, especially from unexpected stressors, and weddings are chock full of those. Now for the actual update. The wedding, it's still happening. I will be the best man, and I've been read in on all the shit that I need to do. The person who is filling in for me, Matthew, 34 male, one of mine and Alex's good friends, who's also neurodivergent, is thrilled to not have to spend the day peopling and can instead party his ass off. As a result of this cluster F, Alex, Stella, and whoever parents are paying for the wedding will be comping me plus my girlfriend's plane tickets and hotel stay and my best man tux. What was the main driver of this mess in the first place? Stella's pregnant. Yay. They found out a couple of days after the wedding invites got sent out, and apparently they were passively trying, then actively trying in 2022, but stopped and swapped back to heavy BC once the save dates went out because Stella did not want to be pregnant on her wedding day. This led to several changes to the wedding. Threw a bunch of other planning into disarray, sent Alex into OCD hole for a couple of weeks, which is why he was agitated when I called him and why he needed to get his head around it all and get the intrusive thoughts managed, and one of the reasons why Stella ignored and missed my messages and calls. Why did Stella not respond to my messages? Besides surprise pregnancy, Stella said that she's on her phone for a work ton and gets hundreds, if not thousands, of emails, texts, calls per day. She misses some stuff, especially since she didn't have my contact info saved. LOL. I also emailed her work email instead of personal email, which I don't have, and my own personal email handle is not my name. In the future, I was told to be more insistent in my communication with her to break through her everyday noise, duly noted. What happened to my invite? Stella claims that she sent me one, but must have sent it to my old address. I did move in March, and my current residence and the save dates were sent out in January. What did Stella tell Alex about me not being in the wedding? Apparently nothing. According to Stella, he either 1, believed one of his intrusive thoughts was real when he was in his OCD hole. 2, he got confused when she told him one of her cousins with a similar sounding name to mine wouldn't be attending, or 3, some combination thereof. According to Stella, she always wanted me in the wedding. Why did Stella not contact me after I didn't RSVP back? She assumed there was something going on with me and Alex and that we'd sort it out and he'd tell her. In the meantime, she was busy with work, wedding planning, and an unexpected baby. How did a bunch of wedding guests find out about this mess? Alex called his mom for advice after a convo. Mom had church friends over. Church ladies overheard a good chunk of their convo. Church ladies are gossipy Fs. Alex has spent a decent chunk of time the last couple of days putting out fires, so to speak. After about an hour, Stella left to go deal with some wedding stuff, and me and Alex chatted about crap for a couple of hours. Do I believe Stella's explanations? Kinda. The baby's real, AFAIK, confirmed by medical professional. She does have a cousin I know she's close with who has a similar sounding name to me. And she does work from her phone a lot, but the rest of it just seems a little too convenient, and I feel like I am left with more questions than answers. Good news is, since I'm in the wedding, I should have a great access to figure out what the F is going on, I hope. That's all for today. If you're enjoying this story, please like the video and share your thoughts in the comments section down below. Thank you.